What's up, everybody? Guy here from Total Geek Live. And with me, as always, is the TGL crew. We have Baltimore, we have Danny, and we have Kaiser, doing all sorts of stuff, including that, up to and including that. And today we are getting into the holiday spirit with a time-honored classic, A Charlie Brown Christmas.
Yay!
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Trumpet Man. That's what happens when you go through puberty. You turn into a trumpet.
Or just an adult.
You're an adult. That's what your adult voice will sound like. So, unless you've been in a coma or living in a cave, which at that point, how are you watching this video? You've seen A Charlie Brown Christmas. They show it every year, which originally debuted on CBS in 1965. And ABC has since then been doing the broadcasting rights for that. But it's the timeless tale of Charlie Brown going through his depressive funk about the commercialism of Christmas, but then also trying to find that true meaning in the spirit of the holiday. So, of course, we have a trailer for it.
Yes.
Just in case you're still in that cave and you can't remember and need a recap from the last 364 days.
Ooga, ooga, boonga.
Right. Thank you, Captain Caveman. All right.
Okay.
I love this version of the song.
Wintertime, Christmas time. The time of sugar plums.
Our time.
Santa Claus.
Sugar
At last,
plums.
those lovable children from Peanuts. Enjoy a Charlie Brown Christmas.
Oh, Snoopy.
Schroeder and Beethoven. Lucy. And that impudent hound, Snoopy.
That impudent hound.
What?
He's impotent?
That's what I heard.
Oh,
Dude!
smack.
Listen.
Thanks for the Christmas card you sent me, Violet.
Dude, the look on his face right
I
there.
didn't send you a Christmas card, Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
Don't you know sarcasm when you hear it?
Be here as your favorite comic
Hey.
comes to life. This year, enjoy a Charlie Brown Christmas.
Stepping in the color. And now he's stepping in the brown.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah, that was the thing. Patty and Violet were always just vicious.
Man, they were mean to him.
Yeah. Yeah, they were. Yeah.
I remember, oh, shoot. Yeah, Lucy, like, pulling the football away from him and all that, but
I don't
yeah, I didn't realize that the other one was so daggum mean to him.
Dude, what's up with Lucy just cold cocking, knocking him? Boom!
Is that in the movie? I don't remember
I
that.
don't remember that at all.
I don't remember that piano scene at all. I mean, I watch it every year. That must have, because they've made a lot of edits, because originally it was sponsored by Coca-Cola, and they've pulled out those little frames of animation since. I guess they cut that.
Yeah, I'd like to see an original version of this. Wow.
So, as I said, this is about Charlie Brown trying to find the true meaning of Christmas for himself. And this had a crazy backstory to it. Originally, this was put together by Coca-Cola. They wanted a holiday show, and they talked to Schultz and the producers, and they basically said, yeah, we can do this in 6 months. And sure enough, they did. They finished up the editing and everything 10 days before the show actually aired.
Oh, wow.
They were on a super they were on a super tight budget, but again, this was sponsored by Coca-Cola. And the funny thing is, I always like associate like Coca-Cola and Zingers, like those Dolly Madison cakes.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, like I was reading up on it, and Zingers wasn't even like a part of this. That was all for Great Pumpkin. They didn't have Zinger sponsorship for Charlie Brown back then.
Huh?
Wow.
So I've been eating delightfully chocolatey lies, thinking this had something to do with Charlie Brown.
Oh, your eyes are open now.
Right.
Wow.
So right.
Well, the Zinger cells are going to plummet after we blew the lid off of that in this episode of
Yes.
19XX.
That's right. Well, they still have Great Pumpkin.
Not sorry.
Yeah, but those fourth quarter sales.
It's all over.
Well,
So-
and I was just going to say that it's kind of surprising that this film was aired back in 1965, and it talks about the commercialization of Christmas, whereas we're seeing that so heavily now. I'd like to see a comparison of what it was like back then,
Right.
to where it was such a point that needed to be made by Charlie Brown, because it really needs to be made now.
And the sad thing is, all the kids that grew up watching this that are now renting things didn't learn the lesson.
Right.
Yeah,
They've made it worse.
Talking about.
They're
Yeah,
wrong.
'cause I've got like the tree and Snoopy in a doghouse behind me.
You're
Yes.
part of the problem. You're feeding the beast.
I know. Yeah, I think Charlie Brown would have a heart attack if he thought the 50s, 60s were commercial back
Right.
then.
Right.
So, wow.
Yeah. For
So,
sure.
so let's talk a little bit about some of our favorite moments from the special itself. Baltimore, what are some of your favorites?
I don't know if I necessarily have a favorite moment, but the overall feeling I get when I see Peanuts on the big screen or on the TV is just happiness. So anytime I'm watching Peanuts, I have a smile on my face. I'm loving it. I'm having a good time. I'm down for whatever is happening. But I think as y'all know, my favorite Peanut is Linus.
Linus.
Right.
It's evidenced by my mini Linus.
How many Linus do you have? Is that the plural of Linus?
I know.
Linus.
Line, yeah, I guess so.
Wow.
Yeah. And I do have a blanket somewhere, but I can't find it, so I'm very sad about that. I think it's packed up away somewhere.
Oh.
Well, you are our residents.
Oh yeah, and I played Linus once. That's why.
That would be a good reason.
Yeah, that's the reason. But I love the story that they're telling, and I love the earnestness of the characters.
Mhm.
Whether it's Lucy being what Lucy is, or Charlie Brown always trying to find, whether it's love or whether it's friends or whether it's, whatever he's craving. And I love that they are all just like that. And they're really fun to watch. And even though they haven't had much, progress, so to speak, they're still, the 7, 8, 9, 10, 11-year-old kids. They're not adults. I still love the stories. I still think that they're very timely, timeless, and appropriate,
Yeah. And Linus was a very, very intelligent kid. He's, he actually is in the film. He's the one that tells the biblical story of Jesus, the birth of Jesus and stuff. He quotes scripture, and he's a very he's got a good head on his shoulders and makes a great friend for Charlie Brown.
yes.
And kind of helps Charles along his way of kind of dealing with his own feelings and everything. And a great friend, So I just love his character so much.
Yeah. What about you, Kais?
Favorite scene? Now it's from the trailer when Lucy just decks Charlie and goes flying. Like, I was watching that before the show, I'm like, blah! That's,
Yeah.
but, the biggest smile and just the heart and the warmth that comes over me with the big dance scene.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All those crazy dances, yeah.
All of those dances are amazing,
I know. I'd like to see a group of people recreate that in real life and do all.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
They sort of kind of did in the 2015 Peanuts movie. They actually had all the kids doing their dances during the school dance.
Yeah.
Oh, it's okay. That's right.
And
Nice.
that was actually really funny.
In what movie?
The Peanuts
Oh, the
movie that
Peanuts
came out.
movie? You know, I still haven't seen that.
Yeah.
Oh wow,
Although-
guys.
Strange fact, one of the Stranger Things kids is the voice of Charlie in that.
Yeah, the kid who plays Will,
Yeah.
Noah Schnapp, he
Really?
plays Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So an
Very
interesting
cool.
tie in there.
Well, I liked Snoopy decorating his doghouse for the contest.
You mean like
Yeah.
that one over there?
Yeah, like that one over there. Yeah.
Yeah.
He even has the little doesn't he get the first place ribbon
Oh yeah.
and
First
stuff?
prize.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was always fascinated about. I jokingly think that Snoopy is a Time Lord because his doghouse is it's bigger on the inside,
I always
Like-
love that idea.
like the TARDIS. And so it was great that you'd walk in there and he's got a basement and has all this stuff
Table and
just everywhere. It's yeah, pool table. Yeah, it's amazing what Snoopy has accomplished in his short time of being a dog.
And it flies. You can fly
Yes.
around on it.
yeah.
Does fly.
That's pretty talented.
Oh yeah.
Guy, I mean, you love this film. What's your
Well, there's a couple things. I mean,
favorite?
before I get to my favorite thing, I mean, this was a very different cartoon than a lot of the ones at the time. First off, it didn't have a laugh track. They played it straight.
Mhm.
The second thing is they had a jazz soundtrack by Vince Guaraldi. Linus and Lucy is the defining Peanuts theme as far as things go.
Oh, yeah.
And
right?
I definitely have the soundtrack on vinyl.
Oh, yay!
So I play
Very
this every
nice.
year. Every time I hear Christmas Time is Here, those first little piano tones, it just sets me in that right moment.
Hmm.
But the fact that they played it a little more serious, and I mean, it's funny, but they play it less for laughs. CBS executives hated it initially. They were just like, "Oh, this
Really?
isn't going to work." It's like, we like Peanuts. You're better keeping this to the comic strips. So
Wow.
how wrong they were, because here we are over 50 years later, and we're still watching it every year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yet another example of how some executives just don't have a clue.
No.
No idea at all. Yeah.
There's a couple things I really like about it. I think of all the Christmas specials out there, and even a large amount of just animation, I think it's probably one of the most honest Christmas stories.
Hmm.
I think it comes from a very real place. It's very honest. It's very Charlie Brown is looking for meaning. It's like you said, Baltimore.
Yeah.
He's always looking for something. He's always on some quest to find something
Right.
that he can't have, and everyone except for Linus tears him down, and Linus tends to kind of help ease his insecurity so he can push forward.
Yeah.
I think the dance scene is funny because they just so blatantly disrespect Charlie Brown every time he's trying to give stage commands, and he keeps trying, and then finally he reaches one point and he's just like, "Can anyone tell me what Christmas is all about?" And that's when Linus does the speech.
Right.
And the whole lights please, and then he does the speech, and then he stops, walks over to, and that's what Christmas is all about, Charlie Brown. And it's like silent. It's like there's no dialogue, there's no nothing, and it's like you can kind of tell that it's really sinking in. Charlie Brown goes off for his walk, trying to make sense of this little tree that he believes he killed. Sees Snoopy's #1 doghouse, and then after he kills that tree, his friends realize that I think that speech hit home for them as well.
Right.
And it's like, all right, this tree isn't so bad after all. And I don't know about you, but I've never been able to decorate a tree just by. I have tried. It doesn't
enough.
it doesn't work for me, but I've never been able to. It's like it takes me several hours, and I'm pissed off at Christmas lights and everything else. No,
Which is
that
like
would just.
a whole other thing.
I wish that would just make my life so much easier. But yeah, I just think that scene, just because it stops for a second and it really allows it to sink in. It's just such a great moment.
Yeah.
And I think honestly that's my favorite scene.
Mm.
Yeah. No, and the earnestness, I think, is what endears it even more. You know, like you were saying, Guy, that, you know, not playing it for laughs, not playing it for, you know, this or that, really gives the weight
Mm-hmm.
to the movie, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah, and it speaks. I mean, that speaks volumes of Schultz's character, and just what he believed to be the purpose of the Peanuts was to have some wholesome children and have that had good values and told good stories, and it's really needed in the world today for sure. Absolutely. This type of storytelling.
Yeah.
Schultz's stories weren't played for cheap yucks. I mean, the humor came from the faults and insecurities that we all had. And, you know, it's like, yeah, we've all felt like Charlie Brown sometimes. We've all had little silly beliefs that no one else really would ever think of, and we've gotten ridiculed for, like Linus. And sometimes we've been crabby like Lucy, or had great imagination like Snoopy. I think each character plays like a little tiny part of a different facet of people's personalities. And it's an interesting study, really seeing how Charlie Brown and the Peanuts gang evolve over the years. And I think this is one of those highlight moments.
Right.
And I've always, you know, felt a connection with Charlie Brown because he's always yearning after that redheaded girl. That he...
And it comes back to this.
There we go.
Sorry, just you were so sentimental and somber and poignant. I had to crack a joke.
Yeah, it's all good.
So,
it was a good one.
Show of hands, who owns this on home video in some form or fashion? Did you guys ever watch that pseudo sequel, It's Christmas Time Again, Charlie Brown, the bonus feature on it?
I'm sure I did. I just don't really remember it.
No. That's not the one with the dog, right?
No. I mean, they adapted it from some comic strips, you know, like where Peppermint Patty was playing a sheep in the Christmas play. But it feels basically like you can almost count the 3 to 4 panels of each one. It's like the setup, and it's like they do the pun, and then the next scene. It's like almost like somehow they tried to make a story out of like 3 or 4 panel comic strips, and it's like they say something, pun, next strip, and that's like how the whole like film feels.
It's just very disjointed.
Oh yeah. It's just you can feel the pauses in it, and it is just so. I was like, I'll just go back and watch the other one. So,
wow,
doesn't need a sequel, and what they tried just simply did not work.
Right, and then and more recently they did the one that I'm thinking of is where it's Linus's little brother, and he wants a dog for Christmas. And I'm not a huge fan of it. It's just, I don't know. It doesn't feel like the Peanuts of old.
Yeah.
You know, for one, I never knew that Linus had a younger brother.
Yeah.
You know, it seems like it's a little bit commercialized, taking the Peanuts and commercializing them, creating new characters and trying to find new stories. But
that was kind of the joke. His name was Rerun, and he looked exactly like a little smaller version of Linus.
Linus, right. Yeah, that's right. His name was Rerun. Yeah.
Well,
yeah, no thanks.
And I may be wrong, but I believe that they're not allowed to create any more new Peanut stories. When Charles Schultz died, his will was no new Peanuts material.
Wow.
So yeah, you're kind of not necessarily a bad way, but these characters are stuck in time.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
You know, there's some creators that you feel that their soul is in those characters, and souls are just so unique. You can't replicate that.
Right.
Yeah.
And as many times as, you know, people like to keep fandoms going and all that, I swear there's certain cases. I know currently there's one going on right now with the Tolkien family and the whole Middle Earth characters and all of that, and there's debate going on right now about, well, does it make sense? Is that good, or should we just keep it the way it is and just appreciate what we had, you know?
Yeah. Question.
And that's an interesting point because, as you said, Baltimore, Schultz retained full creative control over Peanuts for like 50 years. It's known as one of the longest-running American stories, serialized stories. And when he literally died like the day before Peanuts ended. So when he passed on, Peanuts ended as well.
Right.
And they have kept true to the word, and it's like they've been wanting to do a Peanuts movie for a very long time, and they finally developed that one that came out 2 years ago, and it came with the blessing and the direction of the remaining Schultz family. And if you haven't seen it, it's very cute. It captures the spirit very well. It could have gone much more modern, but it plays to that timeless heart that the Peanuts did. It's a very cute movie, and it's done very well.
And didn't they got around the whole they couldn't create any new stories by there's something unpublished they had found, and took different pieces of stories and put them together?
That I don't know.
Well, it was a whole bunch of different stories put together, but I'm not quite certain about that either.
Yeah, it might have been adapted from some previous storylines, but they made it a full, theatrical film, and they just haven't done a sequel for it because it's taken them that long to do one. It will probably take them a very long time before they ever attempt to do another.
Right.
And it's fine if it's a one-off standalone. They did a very nice, respectful job of it, and I'm okay with that. They can leave it as such. So
yeah, for sure.
Man, there's so many Christmas movies. I feel like I need to start watching my Christmas movies now so that I get them all in by the time Christmas rolls around.
Yeah.
Well,
start now and then watch them into January, February if you're really slow. It could happen, People are slow. It takes time. Well, anyway, guys, that's everything for A Charlie Brown Christmas. If you don't make it a point to watch it every year, what's wrong with you?
Blockhead.
But definitely see it. It's a timeless classic. It's got a great story that, especially with the fast-paced speed of the world today, its message is more resonant than ever.
Yeah.
It remains and retains my highest possible recommendation of any of the other Christmas specials.
Same here.
Yeah. Love Charlie Brown Christmas. Amazing. You have to watch it. If you haven't seen it, go ahead and watch it again.
And watch it some more, but not the It's Christmas Time Again, because no.
You think fast.
That's my other recommendation. Don't watch that. That's sad. You can watch Frosty and watch him drag children. Train.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you, Rankin Bass? I don't know, man. Anyway, that's it for this particular version of 19XX. And as always, it's all Geek Times. Take care, you guys. Bye. Doing the Batman thing. All right. Christmas time is here. Drop some truth bombs over that.
Meet Charlie Brown, Schroeder and Beethoven, Lucy, and that impudent hound, Snoopy.